Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Seibert Show. Da-na-na, da-na-na. No, it feels so good to be back. I got to, of course, go over the analytical data. And before we really begin to get into that segment today, as you can tell, I'm back here by myself. Bryce is kindly enough to be in his room right now as I'm recording this. I still have the same setup from last week's episode. If you can remember when I interviewed Bryce, he was kind enough again to set up this device, which I can't already remember what it's called. But it's this device that taps into my MacBook, into Adobe Audition, which he showed me because I was using my Yeti, my Blue Yeti, if you guys can remember. You might not even know what that means, but still, I was using this Yeti device going into GarageBand and recording it, and it sounded great. But after him talking to me, showing me this setup, and then me trying it, I was just hooked automatically. And again, it goes back to showing that having Bryce around, somebody who is so clever and smart in terms of audio, and introducing me to this just makes this content already so much better. And I just can't be thankful enough for all of this. So for those of you guys that are new to the podcast, this could potentially be the first time you're listening to this. I like to go over the analytical data first. This is very crucial for me. This is for those regular viewers out there who listen to this on a weekly basis, whether they be listening to it through Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or even watching the YouTube version and keeping up, just seeing the potential growth we have. So getting into the analytical data, this is going to be such an exciting episode, week 13, because there's so much to talk about. I've been gone for a week now. Last week, Bryce was here with me and we're talking. We kind of skipped that week, and now we're going over 2 weeks of information in a way. But last week was a big ordeal. I took a bold initiative and ended up posting our interview segment, Bryce and I, having him talk since he's officially moved in, and sharing that on my personal Instagram, my account, on my Instagram story. And I have a private, I wouldn't say private, it's also public, but something that a lot of people don't know I do about on that Instagram. But no, I shared the interview from the podcast, the Seibert Show, talking with Bryce and interviewing him and putting on my personal one. And since then, I have seen crazy numbers, and I'm proud to share that this week with the analytical data. So last week, there was 5 total downloads on, and again, I don't know specifically what type of platform, if it was Apple Podcast or Spotify, depending on those of you out there that are downloading this each week. But there was 5 total downloads for the podcast featuring Bryce when I was talking to him. But as a general number of total downloads so far for this month, there was 14 downloads. And again, this can be from Apple Podcasts. This can be from Spotify. This could additionally be from any other type of platform that is through Lisbon, the host that I use to upload these podcasts to and kind of disperse them across the different platforms. But it's crazy because you guys don't get to see the kind of data that I see, but 14 downloads for this month, that is the total amount of downloads I had in the month of May when I first essentially released the Seibert Show. So to see that explosion of downloads for this month already, only being August 12th while I'm recording this, and already getting the whole number of May, makes me really excited. So 14 total downloads altogether for just in the past week. And then additionally, 8 views on YouTube for Welcome to My Weekends in Las Vegas with 4 likes. And then again, my most recent Welcome to My Weekend segment where I made jambalaya with Bryce, and of course, Emily was here, 3 likes and 8 total views. So every week I'm really appreciative, and I like to thank everyone who tunes in and decides to listen to this. But it was just a very exciting past 7 days to see the amount of downloads, the amount of views, the amount of likes. I kind of just do this for fun. It's a hobby of mine. Yes, I want to be at a certain number, a certain quota, have a certain goal in mind down the road as I continue to keep pumping out content on a weekly basis, but it's not all about the numbers. and still seeing people tuning in, downloading, watching, just really puts me in a positive mood. It makes me happy, and I'm very blessed and thankful for you out there that are giving me a chance and listening to me. I think it's awesome. So thank you so much for that. And that's the analytical segment for this week on week 13 of the Chris Seibert Show. Breaking into my next segment, again, for those of you out there that are new, I like to kind of catch you up on my week, what's happened in the past 7 days, what to expect until next week on the Chris Seibert Show, what happens. But since I've been gone now, having Bryce on here last week, I came back from Vegas, Las Vegas, Nevada. I took a trip with some friends, my really good friend Wyndham. It was her 25th birthday on the 5th of August, and we planned it out months in advance to where we'd all go to Las Vegas just for fun, a weekend getaway. I turned 25 on July 21st. Another good friend of ours turned, Eric, he turned 23, I want to say. It's 23 or 24, late July. And then, of course, Wyndham on August 5th. But we all went out as a group. There was a large group, and it was so much fun. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic situation, a lot of things were closed down, which is kind of heartbreaking, but yet we still kind of got to experience Las Vegas and have a good time. We were in an Airbnb, which had an in-ground pool. We did a lot of drinking, obviously. We got to go to Fremont Street and walk around, see the light show. We gambled a little bit. Of course, we cooked in, a lot of drinking, and it was just really fun to kind of get away out of the state of Indiana, not think so much of this pandemic, and just let loose and have fun for a few days. So it was a great time, and I enjoyed it. And I hope those of you out there that took the time to tune in and watch the Welcome to My Weekends, and if you haven't already, on my YouTube channel, Christopher Seibert, I uploaded, I think it's 20 minutes of just gathered content from the trip into one long video. So feel free to tune in and watch that. The cool part about Las Vegas, though, is once I returned back to the States, at my apartment, if you can remember, I was talking it up that Bryce would be officially moving in, and he was officially moved in. He moved in Saturday, and I returned back to the apartment on Sunday. I flew back into Indianapolis International, and which would have been, it's now 2 weeks ago. But not 2 weeks ago yet. But yeah, he moved in that Saturday, and I've been waiting. I've been talking about it. He came and visited back, and gosh knows how long ago, but I uploaded a video with him, kind of the same style, an interview segment. And then last week I had to have him on as a guest and talking and getting to know him, because you'll be seeing him in a lot of my content as time rolls on. But yeah, no, I'm super excited to have a roommate. Not only am I saving money by having an additional person live with me and cutting costs, but it's just exciting because we both share a similar love and passion for media. I'm, of course, more video heavy and he's more audio heavy. But again, by just having him here in less than a week's time, he introduced me to a whole new setup, letting me borrow his equipment. I'm sharing some of my stuff, collaborating, thinking of ideas. And it's just so cool to be in a small community and network and do this kind of stuff. But yeah, it's been awesome. But he moved in, and in not even more than a week, we've came up with an idea. I'm not talking about too much about it this week because it should be rolled out, hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of this week. And then next week, I will be talking about it a lot more and sharing that not only on my YouTube and podcast Instagram, the Christopher Seibert, but I'll be talking about it more. But our turnaround time is unbelievable. We already have a concept. We have a project. We have who's editing the audio. Obviously, you guys know I'm doing the video. He's doing the audio version of it. But we're just intertwining and getting everything, all of our pigeons lined up, or whatever the phrase may be. But cards, I'm not sure. I have no idea. But no, it's a super exciting time, and to already not even be here for more than a week, us getting together, coming up with a concept, starting it, and letting it roll out. And I'm very excited to see what happens as we continue to keep doing this once a week on top of all of our other stuff and then our jobs. So it's really neat. And I'm excited for you guys to learn more about that. But yes, Bryce is officially moved in. In terms of this coming weekend, I am going to Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm very excited. Vegas was literally 2 weeks ago. This past week was a break. And then now here again, this will be my last trip for some time in the year of 2020. I might potentially be doing something more towards the winter month or season. But right now, this is kind of the one-all be-all. I think I recorded a Welcome to My Weekend segment, but I was up near Mishawaka, Indiana. I was in Michigan the weekend I went boating. My good friend Scott and Peyton, who follows my Instagram, the Christopher Seibert, I was at their Peyton's father's lake house. But we are having a bachelor party in Nashville, Tennessee. And again, it's going to be very similar to Las Vegas, I believe, where a lot of things are going to be closed down. There's going to be a lot of fun at the Airbnb. There is going to be a little event I think we all have paid for and signed up for, which is like a drinking experience on some type of shuttle or bus. Not too sure of how that's all going to shake out yet. I don't know the plans, but I've paid for it. We're doing that. So a lot of good content will be coming out extremely soon, and I'm very excited to share that with you guys. But yes, this coming weekend, I will be in Nashville. I have my time off at work at Festool on Friday, and we'll be heading to Nashville on Friday. So be expecting this coming Monday some good content. If I don't get around to it Monday, I will be getting around to it next week, but I'm very excited to bring that to you guys. Something I want to cut back to really quick too that I haven't brought up yet and it just now hit me. If you can remember, I recorded the podcast with Bryce last week. I am going to try to resolve that issue because I've been having uploading trouble on YouTube with the video. So this evening, while I'm recording this, it should be out before week 13, this episode that I'm particularly talking about. But I've had uploading issues, so I'm going to try to re-export that content, kind of dig in and see what's wrong with the video format or the file and why it's having issues, and get that uploaded for you guys so you can see that. So if you want to watch the video version, you missed out, and you don't listen to Apple or podcast through Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or choose to watch it through YouTube every week, I will be uploading that, so stay very tuned. Sorry about that. Okay, so going back now to what I'm talking about with my personal life, the last note that I have that's very important and something that I want you guys to know is I've been kind of talking about how I've been live streaming on Wednesdays, and I've been doing that from 7 to 8 p.m. As of now and until this point in time, I have officially decided that I am going to be postponing live streaming entirely. The reason before this is because during the week, I need a small break. I have a lot going on with my job and doing this podcast, doing video content on the weekend. Sometimes I'm delayed on the weekend. I have to do it during the weekday. Now that Bryce has moved in and doing stuff and collaborating together on another podcast, seeing someone who I like dearly and just spending time with her, that's another main priority of my focus. And just live streaming in general on Wednesdays for an hour, it seems like the last few times, even though I haven't done a good job of being on time when I go live, no one really tunes in for the first 15 to 20 minutes, and then it's just kind of a waste of time. So expect me to begin live streaming again, and of course I will announce this, but for the time being, I am going to be postponing live streaming in general. I think that's going to be a good thing to do. It's going to free up my schedule just a little bit, so on Wednesdays I can relax. So I just wanted to give you the guys that heads up. But stay tuned on that. I will be updating you, I'm sure, in the future once, I'm deciding about going live again and when I do, and that way you guys will know. So I just wanted to bring that up to speed for you guys. I'm currently 14 minutes in, which is good. I feel like I'm talking really fast. I'm sure you can probably tell by my breath. Long story short, funny segue before we get into the stock market information. Bryce got a brand new job tonight, and when he told me that, we decided to go out to one of my favorite restaurants in Castleton called Ale Emporium, and we had some drinks. We had some pizza to celebrate. I have a very dry mouth. I don't have water by me. For those of you that are listening to the audio format. I'm talking extremely fast. I'm a little tipsy, so I'm sorry about that. But okay, so going back now, or not going back, but talking about our next segment. What I like to talk about next, if you're new to this, after my personal life, after the analytical data, I like to talk about the stock market. Now, don't so much talk about the market and news. I talk more particularly about my portfolio, just share with you when I add stuff to my portfolio, and just any other stock information I should share. And I think that's important. There's been a lot of adjustments in the last 2 weeks, and I'm very excited to share that with you. I've also recently downloaded an app that I'm very, very excited about. And for those of you out there that tune in just to kind of fast forward and hear this segment, I hope this brings value to you guys out there that are naturally curious or maybe have thought about doing this. So let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? Blink is still staying the same. I have 2,000 shares. Now, I'm recording this on August 12th. I have a very, very busy day tomorrow, and normally Thursdays are the day I record the podcast, upload it overnight, and schedule it out for Friday at 8 a.m. But tomorrow, Thursday, August 13th, 2020, Blink Charging, ticker symbol BLNK, a company that I'm heavily invested in, is having their second quarter earnings report. Now, tomorrow is going to make me or break me. I've yet to sell an entire share in my position. I'm up over 100 and something percent. I've made so much money from this company, but Blink Charging is sharing their second quarter, and for the first time, and I don't know how long, if they've ever done it at all, they're having a webcast, or I guess you could say a conference call, sharing their second quarter results. And I feel like they just wouldn't do this out of the blue. I feel like this is a very, very big deal. And there's been so much positive news, such great press releases from Blink Charging within the last few months. And I expect Blink Charging to go up quite a bit after hours once they announce this conference call with their earnings report. And the CEO, Michael Farkas, talks about Blink and what the future holds for the company. So I am extremely, extremely, extremely excited for tomorrow, Thursday, August 13th, because we will see what happens. Making $20 on the penny. If the stock goes up a penny, I make $20. If it goes down a penny, I lose $20. I have a lot riding on this company, but I expect to just hold this for an extremely long time. I expect nothing but the best for this company. And as I continue to keep living in Indy and how long I've lived in Indy, I see so many more Teslas by the day. Electric vehicles. Blink Charging is an electric vehicle company, and I just feel like the future is happening so much faster than a lot of people understand, and that electric charging is going to be the next big thing with gas stations. So I'm very excited for tomorrow to see what happens on the conference call. But getting into my other holdings, segueing into different stocks. SPHD, the last time I left you guys, I told you that I officially had 100 shares. SPHD has an annual dividend of $1.87 per share, which means at the end of the year per share, if I hold it for 100 or 365 days, I will receive a total of $1.87. And SPHD pays their annual dividend, or I should say takes $1.87, and they split it up per month. That's their payout. So if you do the math, it's around 15 cents per month. 12 times 15 is around 187. It's not exact. It's by fractions. But yes, SPHD is a monthly paying dividend. I ended up adding, in the last couple weeks, I have 10 more shares of that. So now I have a total of 110 shares of SPHD. And if you take that times 15 cents per month, you take my 110 shares now and times that by 15 cents, you'll get a certain amount. You can do the math on your calculator if you want to. And I will continue to keep reinvesting that amount back into SPHD, and will continue to add and buy more shares of SPHD per month, and just continue to reinvest, buy. But I added 10 more shares within the past couple weeks since we last talked. So I have 110 shares of SPHD now. I had 100 shares when we last talked of EPR, and they have an annual dividend of $4.59. However, they have suspended their dividend from the last time I looked, and I ended up deciding to sell my entire stake of EPR. Now, 100 shares of EPR at the time, what I had was $2,842.28. If you guys can remember, going back at the beginning, my introduction episode, I told you that I'm going to be long-term holding these companies and not selling them. Well, I've decided to kind of change my route. I was holding EPR specifically for the dividend, but due to the pandemic and the situation we're having, they've suspended their dividend. And just by holding it, yes, they will pay their dividend again in the future, but it probably won't be as much as what it is now. And at this current value, we don't know when we're going to receive our vaccine. We don't know how long it's going to take. So I ended up deciding to just take the risk. I was already up $500 at the time, sell my position, and I reinvested that $2,800 into other monthly paying dividend stocks, and we'll begin to discuss that right now. I ended up buying an additional 7 shares of O Realty Income, which has an annual dividend of $2.80. Again, this is a monthly paying dividend stock. All these stocks that I own are monthly paying dividend stocks. So now I have a total of 32 shares of O, ticker symbol O, Realty Income. I also bought an additional 7 shares of STAG. STAG Industries is the company name. STAG, STAG, is the ticker symbol. But I also now have a total of 32 shares of STAG, which has an annual dividend of $1.44. And if you take that, I mean, you guys can do the math on your own. I'm not going to take too much time talking about each of these. So all together, and I guess I really should say the last couple things here, what ended up happening. Last time we talked, Oranogram, I had which is ticker symbol OGI. I had 150 total shares. It was a stake of $192.30. This was a cannabis company. I ended up selling that entire stake, and along with the returning funds that I had the amount of EPR I had after selling that stake, I bought 85 shares of PBA, which is Pemblem, I believe, is the company name, but it's a pipeline company based out of Canada. They have an annual dividend of $1.86. Again, it's a monthly dividend, so you can divide that by 12, and that's that payout per share per month. But the reason why I ended up buying PBA was not so much of the dividend. The dividend is a great incentive. That's also a monthly paying dividend. But I thought long term, my father works for a pipeline company based out of St. Louis, Missouri. And the way I've worked with him and the way I've seen it through his business is there's always going to be pipeline work needed for gas, for water, and just construction in general. And they have a great paying dividend. It's by the month as well. So I decided to take a risk and buy 85 shares of that. But just to keep you guys up to date, really quick before I get in my next segment with the stock market that I'm very excited to share with you guys, I have 2,000 shares now of Blink Charging. I have 110 shares of SPHD. I have 32 shares of Realty Income, which is ticker symbol O, and I also have 32 shares of STAG Industries. And lastly, I now have, which is new in my account, 85 shares of PBA, ticker symbol PBA. So that's my thing. The next thing I want to talk about in terms of my portfolio is an exciting app that I've came across and I decided to download. And this app is called Stock Dividend Tracker, aka DivTracker. Now, the reason why I downloaded this is because I want to start thinking long-term, and I've been thinking about long-term, but in terms of dividends and capital gains, thinking of Warren Buffett and the approach of holding long and reinvesting dividends. A lot of these companies, as you can see, and that I told you that's in my portfolio, is monthly paying dividends. You don't have to invest in monthly paying dividends. There's other routes of taking. There's dividends that pay at a quarter basis, and there's 4 quarters in an entire year. So the dividend's going to be higher than what it would be, I say monthly, because you're taking that total number, that annual dividend, and dividing it by 12 rather than 4. But either way, at the end of the day, it's the same amount that you're going to be getting. It'll be, like I told you at the beginning, SPHD being $1.87 in annual dividend. I will receive that total amount per share by the end of the year, but if you divide it by 12 each month, it's going to be little increments compared to 4. But I want to start thinking in terms of long-term with dividends, just reinvesting, making sure that I invest in companies that's going to grow my money in the long term. And it doesn't need to be a race. I don't need to make sure that I have a certain amount by the end of the week, by the end of the month, by the end of the year. Slowly but surely investing in the stock market on a monthly basis, and in turn receiving a dividend and reinvesting that dividend back into the stock will make the money grow faster and stronger. And I just love the idea. I was going to create a spreadsheet and start tracking all of these dividend companies that I'm slowly investing in, but I feel like that's going to take a lot of work. And for me personally, I do not have very good experience with, say, Google Sheets, Microsoft Excel, what other type of software or website that can hold these. I'm just really bad at. So I came across Stock Dividend Tracker. That's the name of the app. DivTracker is the name of the app on the phone. But you're allowed to put in the particular ETF, company, growth stock, whatever one that pays a dividend. You're allowed to enter that symbol, your share amount, how much you own, and it keeps all of that information locked in. So I can look at a calendar and see when that particular company is paying their dividend, if it's been confirmed. I can also see how much I'm going to be making at the end of the year if they continue to hold the dividend. If the company decides to raise the price of the dividend, then that will update. So all of this stuff is at the ease of my fingertips. I don't have to open up a spreadsheet. I can just leave it in there and it all does itself. And as I continue to keep reinvesting and buying more shares, I just go on the app and update that amount, or I guess that position or number of shares I own. So it's very exciting, very simple to use, very easy and cool to just check on there, weekly, monthly, whenever, and just continue to keep updating the app and seeing my money grow faster. And I think it's really cool. So for those of you out there that are invested in dividend stocks, feel free to check that out. Again, the app, if you type it on the App Store, I'm sure on the Play Store, just type in Stock Dividend Tracker, and then it'll have like a measuring utensil, the weighted signs, and it's just called DivTracker. And I love the app. I'm very excited, and I've been telling my father about it. So take a look if you're interested. You don't have to, obviously, but that wraps up the stock information for the last couple weeks for those of you that have been missing out. The podcast has gone on long enough, and I'm looking down at the bottom corner, and I'm very excited about the time because I am on track, which I was hoping for. In terms of news, this is the next segment I talk about after the stock market information that I give you with my portfolio and updates. There's no news I really want to share this week. There's been a lot of news in the press, but I'm taking a break again from the news segment because I've talked a lot about other stuff and really just want to kind of wrap up the podcast for this week. And this is where we get into really just my social media call out. Again, for those of you that are brand new listening to the podcast, maybe this is the first episode maybe you've listened to, you came across the last episode where I talked to Bryce, and now you're continuing to listen on and seeing me just by myself. I do these once a week. Generally, I like to record them on Thursdays, Thursday evening, Thursday afternoon. I will then edit it, upload it overnight, and schedule it out for Friday at 8 a.m. Again, due to this predicament, I'm going to be in Nashville and leaving on Friday. Tomorrow, I'm extremely busy, just kind of getting ready, hanging out with Emily, doing a couple other things, attending a cookout. There's a lot going on tomorrow behind the scenes, so I'm doing this the night before. But I upload every single, or at least try to, every single Friday morning for you guys. Now, and you can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can find it on Spotify. I do the best job of uploading it on YouTube, and I've been very consistent about that. Tonight, I'm going to figure it out with the Bryce and I interview, so hopefully you guys should be seeing that, and it'll be uploaded to my channel. But yes, I upload a video format on YouTube, of course. And then for those of you out there, too, that are listening to this randomly and do not know, please feel free to follow me on my personal Instagram for both YouTube content and the podcast segment. It's called The Christopher Seibert, S as in Sam, EIBERT. On there, you will see when I upload a Chris Seibert Show episode, a podcast episode. You will see when I upload a Welcome to My Weekend segment. You will also additionally see my stock market portfolio to show you guys that A, I am actively investing, and B, to see how I'm doing. Investing is so important. The sooner you start, the better off you're going to be in the long run, and budgeting properly, getting your assets in a row, not weighing down and betting on the liabilities. You want to save the money. You want your money to work for you. So I feel like it's very important to share that information. It's not a kind of rub it in your face thing. That's really not what I'm going for. I just want you guys to know that the importance of investing is super serious. And of course, it's exciting to see your money growing while you're not doing anything on top of working on your normal daytime job. And then lastly, I also do my best every single day to upload a motivational post. I follow a lot of motivational people that inspire me on that Instagram page. So I like to share on my story something motivational, something that I feel seems right. So those of you that follow me maybe kind of get a little motivated, a little energized, a little feeling in that gut. So that's that. Lastly, to close the podcast this week 13, I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, tuning in every single week, seeing the growth in the past 7 days just from having Bryce on and sharing that on my personal Instagram, and having people follow me now on this account it means the world to me. I do this as a hobby. This is more passive and fun. I don't expect or predict that I'm going to be big, but I like to think that this is a side hobby on top of my salary. You got to find other ways to make passive income streams, and this isn't my focus. This is just my after work for fun, just some enjoyment, something new and different to do, and then just find means to make money besides your daytime job. So this is just for fun, and it makes me really happy to see you guys tuning in, taking the time to listen, downloading, streaming, watching. It means the world to me, and I can't appreciate and say enough things about that. So thank you so much. But I'm going to end it here. My throat's very dry, if you can't tell. And I can't wait to see you guys again. Expect sometime next week, not Bryce and I, but the Nashville trip for Scott's bachelor party. There should be a lot of good content. I'm going to have my camcorder, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But again, thank you guys so much. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.